The Chinese embassy in Nigeria has commemorated the 80th anniversary of the victory of the Chinese People's War of Resistance against Japanese aggression and the World Anti-Fascist War, reaffirming its dedication to peace, unity, and multilateral cooperation. Speaking at a symposium in Abuja, Chinese ambassador to Nigeria, Yu Dunhai, described the commemoration as a solemn reminder of shared sacrifices and a renewed call for collective commitment to peace.
The September 18th incident of 1931 marked the beginning of China's war of resistance and heralded the prelude to the main eastern battlefield of the World Anti-Fascist War. After 14 years of blood and fire, the Chinese people defeated the brutal Japanese militarist invaders and won a great victory in defending the nation. As the Chinese President Xi Jinping pointed out, it was through the tremendous sacrifices of the Chinese people who fought to the end on the eastern battlefield that led to the ultimate victory.
To Nigerian soldiers who fought against Japanese forces in Burma during the war, stressing that China and Africa share a legacy of sacrifice in the global anti-fascist struggle.
We also remember the Nigerian soldiers who fought against the Japanese forces in British Burma. They, too, played a unique role in our shared fight for the victory. Beyond the resistance of the Chinese people, the Communist Party of China played a pivotal role in achieving victory. 80 years ago, the Chinese people stood united with peace-loving nations across the world. With iron will and shared sacrifice, we fought side by side and finally cleared away the dark clouds of fascism.
China's commitment to peace, highlighting President Xi Jinping's vision of building a community with a shared future for mankind.
And today, humanity faces new and unprecedented challenges. Once again, we find ourselves at a critical crossroads. That is why today we are not here to dwell on hatred, but to remember history and renew our commitment to peace. In 2013, Chinese President Xi Jinping put forward the vision of building a community with a shared future for all humankind. This vision is dedicated to the common interests and well-being of all humanity. It presents China's approach to a better world and China's wisdom in advancing global peace and prosperity. Over the past decade, through major initiatives such as the Belt and Road Initiative, the Global Development Initiative, Global Security Initiative, and the Global Civilization Initiative, this vision has taken root, flourished, and borne remarkable fruit. It has now not only shaped China's own development, but also that of the wider world.
Mr. Charles Onunaiju, director of the Center for China Studies, provided a detailed historical perspective on the war, recalling the Marco Polo Bridge incidents of 1937 as the start of the Japan's full-scale invasion. He stressed the significance of China's protracted resistance, which tied down nearly 1 million Japanese troops and inflicted heavy losses despite enormous sacrifices.
The important legacy of the war is a united front of all Chinese patriots in confronting this terrific aggression by the Japanese. And of course, the Communist Party just in the first day after Beijing was invaded, after the so-called Marco Polo incident in 1937, when Japanese troops, of course, claimed they were looking for their missed friend as a pretext to open up an aggression in Beijing. China, the Communist Party of China was the first to raise the banner of resistance. You know, they made very quick call that Tianjin, Beijing is in peril, the whole of China is in peril, and the battle cry was armed struggle, armed resistance to the Japanese invaders. And the party ends its place in Chinese history, not on the negotiating table. They end it in the armed struggle and suffering. They paid with blood and tears in becoming the vanguard of the Chinese people. And most of the lessons of the war informed the evolution of Chinese political process, especially the inclusive process of having all Chinese, irrespective of their party affiliation, being involved in China affair, consensus building, which are the core of Chinese political process.
Similarly, Professor Sharif Ibrahim, director of the Center for Contemporary China-Africa Research and head of the International Center, University of Abuja, described the war's victory as a lesson for humanity, a tale of hope, resilience, and patriotism.
The victory of the Chinese War of Resistance against Japanese aggression is a great lesson for humanity, a tale of hope and a tale of resilience. And that is why we have a kind of a triangular analogy, which we should be able to understand in comprehending what happened in Southeast Asia due to this particular Japanese aggression. One is the victimization of Africa and its annexation into colonial powers' expanded territories, especially as it started from the Berlin Conference of 1884 to 1885. Africa was being polarized and balkanized by European powers. Then the second issue is, Asia itself, where Japan wanted to replicate what Europe has done on Africa and other parts of the world in order to emerge as a colonial power, as well as expand its territory, looking at Japan, a very small territory in that particular region. And this particular issue has actually resulted in cruelty as well as victimization of our brothers and sisters in China, which expanded to other areas of Southeast Asia. Colonial policy of any kind is inhuman and should be rejected by full force. European expansionist policy of colonialism has become a thing of the past, obnoxious and a system that is catastrophic to human history. It envisages repeating itself by dragging human society into long conflict. This is one lesson that we should understand basically as a people. We should reject any form of domination, subjugation, and dehumanization of any form through a name called colonialism, if it emanates from any angle of this world and in any shape or in any phase.
The highlight of the symposium was a photo exhibition showcasing the history of the war and honoring heroes who lost their lives defending their country.